Level 1. The Applicant. You are not special yet. You are a college graduate with a clean record, a boring apartment, and a standard job that leaves you staring at a clock every afternoon. You pay your bills, you go to the grocery store, and you spend your weekends wondering if this is all there is to your life. You watch the news at night and see a world that feels completely broken, overflowing with predators and victims. You apply to the Bureau because you think the FBI means justice. You think it means purpose. You want to be one of the good guys, the ones who draw a hard line in the sand and stand between the innocent and the monsters. The process takes over a year of your life. You sit in your cramped bedroom, filling out endless forms on an application portal, documenting every place you have ever lived and every person you have ever known. You hit the gym after work, running miles in the dark until your lungs burn, terrified of failing the physical fitness test. You go through grueling medical exams. You sit in a freezing windowless room, strapped to a polygraph machine while a stern investigator with dead eyes asks if you have ever plotted against the government or if you have ever lied to your own mother. The background check begins. Agents in cheap suits knock on the doors of your college roommates, your previous employers, your high school teachers, and your ex-girlfriends. They ask deeply uncomfortable questions about your drinking habits, your temper, your finances. For the first time, your entire life becomes a file. You are being measured, weighed, and stripped down to your most basic facts. Before you even get a badge, your life is transformed into evidence. You wait months for a single phone call. When it finally comes, you pack a duffel bag, look in the mirror, and say goodbye to the civilian you used to be. Level 2. The Trainee. You arrive at Quantico. The myth disappears fast. It is replaced by cinderblock dorm rooms, early morning runs in the freezing Virginia rain, and a relentless schedule designed entirely to break your spirit. You thought you were coming here to learn how to be an action hero, but you are not. You are being turned into a tool that can follow strict procedure under unbearable pressure. You spend agonizing hours in the classroom, memorizing federal statutes, learning the exact legal definition of wire fraud, kidnapping, and civil rights violations. If you fail the written exams, you pack your bags and go home. If you fail the physical fitness test, you go home. You watch classmates you respect wash out and disappear overnight. You shoot thousands of rounds on the firearms range until your fingers blister, your shoulders ache, and the metallic smell of gunpowder is permanently trapped in the fabric of your clothes. You endure defensive tactics training, getting slammed onto gym mats by instructors twice your size until your ribs are bruised. Black and blue. You walk through Hogan's Alley, the fake town built exclusively for training, and you participate in simulated raids in scenario rooms. Instructors scream directly into your face, actively waiting for you to make a mistake. They want you to fail here so you don't get someone killed out there. You learn that shooting a paper target is easy, but deciding whether to shoot a human being in a split second, while your heart is hammering in your throat and your vision tunnels, is the hardest thing in the world. You are tired, you are perpetually sore, and your ego has been completely erased. You are no longer an individual with dreams. You are an asset of the United States government, and you belong to them. Level 3. The Probationary Agent. You get your badge, your credentials, and your first field office assignment. You walk through the glass doors on your very first day, expecting a briefing on high-stakes manhunt. But instead, you are shown to a small, gray cubicle. You are not hunting serial killers yet. You are a newbie, which means you get the soul-crushing grunt work. You are writing endless reports, carefully formatting FD, 302 interview forms, and making sure every single comma is legally defensible in court. You serve subpoenas to confused bank managers and interview reluctant, hostile witnesses in their messy living rooms. You spend days carrying heavy cardboard evidence boxes up and down flights of stairs. You sit under fluorescent lights reviewing thousands of pages of bank records, trying to find a single missing transaction in a sea of numbers. You learn to walk around the office, trying not to embarrass yourself in front of the senior agents who have been working the streets since before you were in high school. They don't want to hear your brilliant investigative ideas. They want you to listen, stay out of the way, and keep quiet. You quickly realize that the reality of federal law enforcement is not glamorous shootouts or high-speed chases. It is mostly paperwork, heavy bureaucracy, and late nights staring at a computer monitor. The first real lesson you learn is humility. Federal cases are not solved in an afternoon. They are built slowly, painfully, and meticulously through documentation. You are paying your dues, one boring case file at a time, with a heavy Glock 19 resting on your hip, bumping against the armrest of your office chair. Level 4. The Surveillance Agent. You spend your life inside parked cars. You are assigned to a squad that tracks targets, and suddenly your entire world shrinks to the size of a generic government-issued sedan. You follow suspects through sprawling parking lots, cheap motels, neon-lit gas stations, and quiet, leafy suburban neighborhoods where any unfamiliar car sticks out like a sore thumb. You learn how to completely disappear in plain sight. You learn how to slump down in the driver's seat, how to wear a baseball cap pulled low, and how to use the rearview mirror to watch a front door for 14 hours straight without falling asleep. You urinate in empty water bottles because you cannot leave your post. You eat cold fast food out of greasy wrappers scattered across the floorboards. And you drink terrible lukewarm coffee. You work with rotating teams, passing off the target from the eye to the box, speaking in coded radio jargon to keep the suspect completely unaware. The work is mind-numbingly boring until it suddenly is not. The target unexpectedly walks out of the house with a duffel bag. The radio crackles to life. Your heart spikes. You put the car in drive and pull into traffic, fighting the panic, keeping exactly 2 cars between you and the suspect. You have to stay close enough to see where they go, but far enough away that they don't notice the same vehicle taking the same turns. It is a high-stakes game of ghost. One missed turn, one red light, or one careless lane change can destroy a 6-month investigation. You learn to live entirely on the edge of adrenaline, enduring days of silence, just waiting for 1 second. That matters. Level 5. The Undercover Agent. You stop watching from the outside and step directly into the target's world. Your badge goes into a heavy iron safe. Your real name ceases to exist. You are given a false identity, a rehearsed backstory, a fake phone, a false personality, and a wallet full of credit cards that belong to a ghost. You walk into dive bars, illegal gambling parlors, or high-end corporate suites, and you begin the most terrifying performance of your life. You befriend criminals, you buy them drinks, you listen to their stories, you laugh at their terrible jokes. You earn their absolute trust over months of careful, psychological manipulation. You wear a recording device tightly taped to your ribs, hoping the sweat doesn't ruin the adhesive, praying it doesn't show through your shirt. You lie to them so often and so flawlessly that even you start feeling the mask stick to your face. The stress is a suffocating weight. There is no backup right outside the door. If you use the wrong slang, if your rehearsed story slips up by a single detail, or if they pat you down and find the wire, you are entirely on your own. But the danger is not only getting caught by the people you are trying to put in prison. The real danger is the psychological toll. You meet their wives, you bring gifts for their children. Sometimes, dangerously, you even start to genuinely like them. The hardest part of the job isn't the fear of death. It is the agonizing cost of living a total lie, and the realization that you are betraying people who treat you like family. Level 6. The Case Agent. You run the investigation now. You are no longer the junior agent carrying the evidence boxes. You are the one filling them. Informants, wiretap monitors, surveillance teams, federal prosecutors, intelligence analysts, and local police all orbit around your central case file. You are a conductor managing a massive, chaotic orchestra of law enforcement. You sit in a war room completely covered in whiteboards, connecting photos, phone numbers, and bank accounts with dry erase markers. You work 18-hour days. You manage confidential informants, knowing full well that they are professional criminals who will lie to you the second it benefits them. You spend weeks writing search warrant affidavits that are 100 pages long. You argue constantly with prosecutors about whether you have enough probable cause to get a judge to sign a federal wiretap. You obsess over the chain of custody, knowing that a single mishandled piece of evidence can get the entire case thrown out of court. The pressure is absolutely crushing. If the case succeeds, the United States Attorney will hold a flashy press conference. The local cops will take the credit on the evening news, and everyone celebrates. But if it collapses, if a wire goes dead, if an informant is killed, or if a defense attorney finds one procedural error, your name is the only one on the paperwork. Your career will take the fall. This is the level where you realize that leading a major case is far less glamorous and vastly more terrifying than being in physical danger yourself. Level 7. The SWAT Operator. The case turns physical. The endless months of paperwork, legal arguments, and silent surveillance explode into violent, kinetic action. It is 4 a.m. You are sitting in a sterile briefing room, looking at photographs of a target's house, listening to the tactical plan. You do your gear checks, making sure your plates are secure, and your bolt is racked. The air is freezing as you ride in the back of an armored Bearcat, bouncing over suburban streets. You are wearing 50 pounds of body armor, a ballistic helmet, and a rifle slung tight to your chest. The paralyzing thought creeps into your mind. What if the informant lied? What if this is the wrong address? But the signal is given. You approach the quiet front porch. The doors come off the hinges with a deafening, splintering crack. You flood into the dark hallways, moving with precise, practiced aggression. Flashlights slice through the blackness. People are screaming. Dogs are barking wildly. The public watches movies and imagines this action as thrilling glory, but you know the truth. You learn that tactical action is mostly just tightly controlled fear. Your finger is indexed along the frame of your rifle. You are clearing rooms, knowing that behind any closed door could be a man with a shotgun leveled at chest height. You hear children crying in the next room. You have milliseconds to process what you see. Is the object in their hand a weapon? Or is it a phone? Is it a threat? Or is it a terrified teenager waking up to a nightmare? One wrong room, one wrong movement, one wrong squeeze of the trigger can end your life, or ruin the lives of an innocent family forever. And when it is all over, the adrenaline crash leaves your hands shaking for hours while you drink lukewarm water in the back of a van. Level 8. The Counterterrorism Agent. The stakes become national. You are no longer chasing one criminal who committed a crime yesterday. You are trying to stop a catastrophe from happening tomorrow. You are moved to a joint terrorism task force. You work entirely inside a windowless, highly secure room called a SCIF. Your walls are covered in threat boards that look like beautiful madness. You monitor vague warnings, nervous informants, travel records, encrypted chatter from overseas, and half-formed plots generated by radicalized loners. The pressure is a dull, constant, agonizing ache in the back of your skull. Headquarters calls you every hour demanding updates. You are looking for a needle in a mountain of needles. You chase down dozens of false alarms, but you treat every single one like it is the apocalypse, because you cannot afford to be wrong once. The terror of missing one tiny, seemingly irrelevant puzzle piece keeps you awake every single night. Most days, absolutely nothing happens, because your entire job is to make sure nothing happens. You arrest people before they buy the explosives. You dismantle the network before they buy the plane tickets. You save hundreds, maybe thousands of lives, and you can never tell a single person outside that room what you did. You go home, you eat dinner with your family, and you watch the news, knowing exactly how close the world came to tragedy that morning. Success looks like a completely normal, boring day. Nobody throws a parade for a bombing that didn't take place. Nobody thanks you for the disasters that never occur. You live with the silent ghosts of the things you prevented. Level 9, the Section Chief. You leave the street behind. You trade your tactical gear and your field jacket for a tailored suit. You move to headquarters in Washington, D.C., far away from the grit of the field offices. You sit in highly secure, wood-paneled conference rooms. You review top-secret intelligence briefings, approve massive undercover operations, and brief executive leadership on global threats. You look at giant maps and complex spreadsheets, and you decide which field offices get funding and which cases are starved of resources. You no longer chase suspects down dark alleys. You move the people who chase the suspects. You allocate millions of dollars, choosing whether to fund a new cyber task force or authorize a massive cartel strike team. It feels incredibly powerful, but it also feels completely distant. You miss the camaraderie of the squad room. You miss the tangible, undeniable feeling of putting handcuffs on a bad guy. Every decision you make now is entirely abstract. You are constantly choosing between bad options, deciding which threat is worse, which investigation is actually worth risking an agent's life. It all feels like a giant, high-stakes game of chess, played from a tower, right up until the moment your decisions fail. The abstraction ends instantly, when the consequences of your budget cuts or your denied warrants appear on national television as breaking news, and you have to explain to a grieving family why you said no. Level 10, the Assistant Director. You become a public face of the Bureau. You are no longer just an investigator. You are a politician, a shield, and a diplomat. You walk the echoing marble halls of Capitol Hill. You sit at a wooden table covered in microphones, facing a panel of angry senators who want to score cheap political points on evening television by tearing your agency apart. You answer for the failures of agents you have never met in cities you have never visited. You manage massive, embarrassing public scandals. You fight bitter, interagency turf wars with the CIA, the Department of Justice, and local police departments. You learn how to speak in careful, highly rehearsed sentences that sound authoritative but reveal almost nothing. You realize that the FBI is not just a law enforcement agency anymore. It is a fragile reputation. It is an institution, a symbol that the American public absolutely needs to believe in, even when the internal truth is messy, chaotic, and deeply flawed. You are forced to discipline good agents who made honest, split-second mistakes in the field, sacrificing their careers in order to satisfy the media's demand for blood. You compromise. You make backroom deals. You swallow your pride on a daily basis. You protect the institutional trust, because without the shield, you know the entire system collapses into anarchy. Level 11, the Director. You sit at the absolute top. The office is massive, quiet, and suffocatingly lonely. Presidents call you on a secure line demanding loyalty. Senators threaten your budget behind closed doors, demanding favors. The media analyzes your every word, waiting for you to stumble. Half the country blames you for what you missed, and the other half fears you for the classified secrets they know you possess. You control one of the most powerful, sprawling investigative machines on the face of the earth. You command thousands of agents in the field who look to you for guidance. You have access to the darkest, most damaging secrets of the most powerful people in the world. But with all that absolute power, you have never felt more trapped. You are caught in a brutal, never-ending crossfire between the strict letter of the law, the vicious reality of partisan politics, the absolute necessity of state secrets, and the unforgiving, permanent judgment of history. You look out the bulletproof window at the Washington Monument and think about the idealistic kid who applied to the academy decades ago. That kid just wanted to catch the bad guys. That kid saw the world in perfect black and white. You joined the Bureau to serve simple justice, but at the top, you spend every single day deciding what justice is allowed to look like when law, politics, secrecy, public fear, and power all demand different answers.